Welcome, loyal viewers. This is part 9 of Ethan ranting, and as I usually start out, I read some of the replies in the thread. I'll just read a couple of them. Ethan, have you ever attended university or community college? This is from Kite, by the way. I believe that's what it's called in America. While I'm not necessarily saying that you can only become articulate and well-read like you seem to be by going into tertiary education, I'm just curious. If yes, what did you study? As a response to your previous video, I'm female. I did go to community college for a while, and didn't really go anywhere with it. I mean, this is when I got out of high school, and my parents said, either get a job or go to community college, and I was a fuckwit that didn't feel like doing either of them, so they had me enroll for community college. My heart wasn't in it, and I more or less wasted time and money going through that. I was not motivated. I didn't know what direction I was going in life. I still had this big problem with society in general, and I thought to myself, going to college, getting a job, and getting a job and marrying someone and having kids and dying just doesn't seem like it's worth my time. So instead of doing something worth my time, I just did drugs, and I did try dropping out of society for a while. I lived as a beach bum in New Smyrna for probably like 3 months, something like that. Spent most of my time sitting at a boardwalk. I really didn't stray too far. This one spot became my new home, and people took interest in my rants there too. So they give me food and I'd rant kind of like a fakir, or some kind of street performer in India or something. But I was full of shit then, just as I am now. So please don't think I have I view myself as some kind of guru. So I tried dropping out of society, learned some interesting things, had some wild psychic experiences, and then I came back to my parents' house, and I decided to find some direction, and I decided to become a massage therapist. There's a lot of reasons for that. Trouble is, most people don't see massage therapy the way I do. Most people see massage therapy as either Swedish massage, rubbing people down that enjoy massage, or some kind of like therapeutic medical massage, like rehabilitating people. And while those are the two most common forms as far as I'm aware, I looked at massage therapy as a way to feel good about my income. The Buddhists have some ground rules, and one of them is you can't support yourself with a job that involves killing. So you can't be a Buddhist soldier. I don't know, maybe you can, but what a weird thing that would be. I doubt they're very common if they do exist. So I wanted to find a job that not only didn't break any rules of Buddhism, since whether or not you believe in, whether or not you're a spiritual person, if you take the time to look at the Eightfold Path and the 10 aggregates and so forth, they're pretty good guidelines for living a healthy lifestyle, a fulfilling lifestyle. And so I looked at massage therapy as a way to help others while not having to communicate with people in the conventional sense, like in an office space, you know, because you got to deal with so much. I mean, you got to deal with politics on that level, and you have to deal with people's, you know, work's supposed to come first in any work environment, but some people feel like talking your fucking ear off about some nonsense instead. And there's not really much room for that in massage therapy. I mean, sure, you're going to get some clients that want to talk the whole time, but the focus of the job is to be able to put all of your attention into a single-minded task, which is understanding the human body and understanding the human musculoskeletal system and manipulating it in a way. Manipulating soft tissue is the legal definition of massage therapist. Manipulating the body in such a way that people have an improved quality of life, be that a few pleasurable minutes or increased function of their limbs or in general. I thought massage therapy would be good for that. Also, before I decided on massage therapy, I wanted to be a psychologist, and I took an interest in body language, and I found a book called Body Mind that details you know, how muscular tension in different regions of the body are indicative of different personality traits. And it's stunning how accurate it is, especially for a study that was done, I think, in the 80s or the late 70s, where the research was done then, or that's when Ken Dictwell began to write about it. And I thought, well, I'm a lazy person. What better way to incorporate this knowledge by going to a school that forces me to study the muscular system? And it wasn't just that. We studied my anatomy and physiology textbook is the same book that first-year medical students have. Granted, I didn't have to study the structure of individual cells on the same level that a medical student does, but I do have to know the difference between various tissues and even stuff that's not related to massage. We did go through cellular anatomy and physiology to a point. You know, I know what a systole is, or systole. I know what a lysosome is. I know what the mitochondria is. You know, basic shit in that regard, but far more in depth than you would expect from a massage therapist is my point. So I thought it would be a good challenge. It would be a good way to learn about the human body, and at the same time I wouldn't have to dedicate 4 years to rote memorization and burning out my interest in it and just burning out my brain with all these useless facts. So 6 months seemed like a good amount of time to study before getting in, before entering the field. And so I became a massage therapist with the ultimate goal of also improving my muscular tension by receiving massage in school. Every week we gave and received an hour-long massage, Swedish massage. Unfortunately, I didn't get as much from that as I had hoped, but I met some very interesting people in the field. Some of my teachers, very interesting. There's a modality of massage called integrative massage, and I might be confusing it with another modality, but the teacher was experienced. And there is fascia, which is a connective tissue that surrounds and insulates your muscles so that the electrical impulse that one muscle is receiving doesn't cause another muscle to twitch. And it also wraps the entire muscular system, so it separates the skin from the muscle. And when people get tense, it begins to bunch up. It's a solid, but with heat and pressure or friction, it's possible to turn it into a liquid, and then it recoats the muscle smoothly rather than being bundled up and pulling on things and causing tightness, or trigger points as they're called. And And it's amazing how much pain, how much emotional trauma we hold in our muscles. That's what I thought was so incredibly interesting about it, how closely related muscular tension is to emotional trauma. And one of my teachers was an integrative massage therapist, and she put her hands on me, and the pressure, it's a sideways pressure, pulling sideways. And it was such a minimal amount of pressure to cause the fascia to react and not the muscle, that it's almost like there's not even any pressure at all. And yet just by her placing her hand on me, that's just what it felt like, placing her hand on me, I felt such extreme pain in my shoulder and rib cage. And she just bluntly said out loud, "Ethan, you need help." And I thought, yeah, I'm kind of fucked up. And I had another teacher that was intensely psychic. I would ask a question in my head and he'd answer it regularly. And he did it in such a smooth, nonchalant way that it's not even like it was a conscious effort on his part. He was just, so in tune with the ebb and flow of the universe, or whatever placeholder reason you would have put on it for it to make sense. For whatever reason, he was just really in tune, I guess is the way to put it. He was just in tune. And he was teaching us hydrotherapy and also craniosacral therapy, which I think when I get into the industry, I'd like to approach that craniosacral therapy, which if I'm going to attempt to define it, and I'll tell you already that I'm not going to really do it justice, but it's balancing the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. You have fluid in your spinal cord and your brain that pulses, and when it pulses erratically, it's due to pressure in the wrong places and the wrong kind of tension. And the goal of craniosacral therapy is to restore a smooth flow of that. And when that happens, people start acting like themselves, and it's been shown to improve conditions for all sorts of disease and/or disorders, even ADHD and autism. And I took a very strong interest in that. And the incredible thing is that at no point during a good craniosacral session will it be necessary to use more than 5 grams of pressure. Now, as some of you know, a nickel is 5 grams. So if you hold a nickel in your hand, you'll get a sensation for how much pressure is used in craniosacral therapy, and yet it is incredibly effective. This might seem like a quack science, but I've experienced it firsthand, and it is real. Now, there's a lot of room for quackery, and placebo effect, and people not knowing what they're doing, charging people, just wrong amounts of money to do this. But I happen to experience it from one of the best practitioners in the state. And one of my teachers, my anatomy and physiology teacher, was actually a quack Reiki master, and she wasn't so hot. So that's what I studied. I graduated, I passed the state exam, and now due to having been in a mental hospital and having a drug history, or a criminal history and a drug history, now I need to go to a state-approved psychologist, or actually a state-approved like a company that's sort of the intermediary between the government and evaluators. So this company has approved a certain evaluator, and I have to pay $550 to receive an evaluation from her and receive a letter of recommendation for the state to read, and so grant me my license. I'm going to be going in for that appointment on Monday, so if all goes well, I will be a massage therapist within a week. A licensed massage therapist. I think I'm hitting my limit here. Oh yeah, definitely. I was gonna cover the topics of what comprises a human soul, if consciousness exists somewhere other than the brain, and the metaphysical plane. But I will have to get into that later. Thank you for listening. Have a great night. And we'll probably do